Welcome back to another session of your Techie Friend, where we'll be talking about um, another day-to-day issue that we encounter in your work. Today we'll be talking about one of the very commonly used service offering that AWS has to provide, and then see how we can use the available techniques that we have for the benefit of our end users. So today I'll be talking more about um, how to store the files in S3 bucket, Amazon S3 bucket, and then how do we access those. So basically, if you are from a technical background, you kind of know how to use S3 bucket, and also kind of you have the needed tools at your disposal that you can use to access your files. But just think from a business user perspective who does not really have either console access or who is not very good programmatically, so they can use your CLIs or to access the file. That becomes in this kind of scenario, it really becomes challenging to educate your end user to drop the files to a S3 bucket, and then at the same time also try to retrieve it. Today here, and this is one of the very common scenarios that almost everybody working in practical world must be seeing, or at least have gone through it at least once. For instance, I have, because I have business users who kind of don't know how to use the command inline interface, or so I have to provide them with different utilities where they can carry on their day-to-day services. So without wasting any more time, let's get into the details how we can do. So for that, let me open text pad, because I want to type, or maybe show you different options that we have at our disposal, and I just want to type it in front of you, so in case if my pronunciation is not right, you can still see what I'm doing. So basically, whenever you create an S3 bucket, you can access the contents of the bucket by following method. The most common and the easiest of all is through AWS management console. It's management console. This is the one that I was currently logged into, and the one you are seeing on my screen. Then the other way of accessing the contents of your S3 bucket is through AWS CLI, which also kind of requires a little bit of programmatic skill and access. Apart from this, anybody who cannot use either of these, then there are certain tools that's available. Some of them are obviously open source, which you can install, configure, and then let your business user use it, so they can just do a kind of a drag and drop on the files. It's like any other file transfer utilities that we have. Just to, I mean, again, this is not the this is not the complete list. I'm pretty sure there must be tons of different tools available, but I'm just going to list some of the more commonly used tools, and probably I'll also show you how to do it in one of the tools. So the first one, I think that everybody knows, is FileZilla. So this is one of the very commonly used file transfer utility. It has got a GUI, very good GUI, that basically allows users to drag and drop their files. But the only the only catch to this one is just be aware that this tool comes in two flavors. One free version of it, which is mostly open source, and then also you have got a paid version of it, which is kind of is what you need to access S3 bucket. So FileZilla free version doesn't let you connect to S3 bucket, but the paid version of it will let you connect to S3 bucket. And I think the licensing cost for this is around $20, um, $20 per license. So in case anybody want to explore this one, you can definitely go ahead and using this. Again, just to be clear, FileZilla free version doesn't let you connect to the S3 bucket, but the paid version, which is also called FileZilla Pro, does allow you to connect to S3 bucket. So FileZilla is the one. Then what else? Probably for anybody who doesn't want to pay any money for the licensing cost or for the tool, you can also try using there is something called S3 Amazon S3 browser. This is also very similar to S3. It has got a very good GUI. It's open source. It's free for your personal use, but for enterprise, I think you will have to get a license, and I think this is the one I'll be using today because I kind of really like this tool. So here it is. It's S3 browser. It's free for, I hope it will come in a second. All right. So as you can see, it says the free version is only for non-commercial use, but for commercial use or for the enterprise use, you'll have to get the licensing purchased. So apart from that, you can also try using, I think, Win SCP also allows you to connect through the S3 bucket. Other software that I'm aware is CyberDuck, which is also freeware, again for personal use, but for commercial use, I think you'll have to get a license. So let me see, CyberDuck. The reason why I'm not sure about CyberDuck is because I have used this, but I'm not sure if there is a licensing cost involved. I think there is, but again, I'm not very sure about it. But just let you know, there's this you can also go for this tool, and this is just like any other file transfer utility we have. With that said, I think this should give you a fairly good idea of what all tools you have at your disposal. But feel free to explore any other tool, because even Amazon itself provides its file transfer service. But that thing is really expensive. I think they charges you $7 per hour, and it kind of goes to around $200 plus $200 plus each month, which is really insane. But these tools will really come handy. Apart from these utilities, if somebody also wants to try a different way of connecting to S3 bucket to a Windows machine, there is also a way where you can also do, where we can map the S3 bucket as folder, NFS folder. It does let you do that, but for that, I think that's a different topic in itself. In case if you really want to know, just drop me a comment and I'll try to demonstrate how to do that. But since that topic has come up, I still will give you talk a bit about it. Basically, there is something called rclone. So you'll have to run this utility, and this utility has to be installed, configured, and has to be set up in a way that it constantly runs behind the scene. So as long as this utility is running or the script is running, you will be able to access your S3 bucket, and the moment this stops, the mapping is lost. So something to be really considered while choosing this option, that there is a bit of scripting and setup needed to use arcload. But in case of the other four tools that we kind of just saw, FileZilla, S3 browser, or in SAP CyberDuck, it's fairly simple. It's a one-time configuration that you have to do, and then you don't have to write any boot up script or anything for this to be to let you access three buckets. All right, now so this was the theory about it. Now let's go and see how we can do. So for that, we will have to log into our management console, and from management console. So now let me tell you the different pieces that is needed. So anybody who has got access to the console should be able to do what I'm going to tell now or show now. The way this works is, and I'm again telling this based on my experience in the practical world. So when you try to set up the access to a story bucket through any of these GUI tools, you need an ID and password, and anybody familiar with cloud world, that those are kind of a secret keys that should not be exposed. So you really have to be very careful when you create a user. You have to create in such a way that you are not opening the access to the entire world. So in case worst case scenario, somebody gains access to your IDs and keys, say unauthorized access, so they're not able to get access to your other services that you might be running in your cloud. So just be thoughtful, careful, on what kind of access you need to provide to your users, and try to restrict those using your policies. And I'll show you one second. So let's do that now. Let's go to your IAM, because I think we need to create a user that we'll be using for this demo. All right, here you go. So I'm sorry, looks like it's a little bit of slow, but as you can see, I already have 4 users, and I'm pretty sure one of them is very specifically created to access S3 bucket. But again, let me show you how to do that. You can do user, and in case I'll probably skim through this part a little faster, because this is it's really easy. And in case if you need more information, do leave me a comment, and then I should be able to later respond to your comment or provide you more details how to do that. So let's say S3 demo user. Alright, so I'm going to create this user, and again, if you remember, I was mentioning earlier that people either needs to have a programmatic access or through a console access, so they can they can access your S3 bucket using your AWS tools. So let's not give a console access, because we only want to make sure that only limited people have got access to console, and moreover, your business users are no longer I'm pretty sure they're not interested in doing anything in their console. So once you are done, you can create a group or anything, but let's do one thing. Let's attach a policy, because I think that's what it is actually needed. And here, for ease of our demo, I will go with S3 administrator access, S3 full access. But again, this is the piece where I was telling you that you really need to be careful. You can create your policies based on any criteria that you have, where you either restrict access or you kind of grant whatever access you want. So the policy, Amazon S3 policies let you to do that. Let's not add any, maybe I can add S3 user. Um, or maybe, sorry, let me make the name. Probably this is just kind of for documentation. You don't really need to do, but when you are working in the real world, I think adding this actually helps. Then you do review, and as you can see, I have created a user called S3 demo user, given programmatic access. Then I have attached the Amazon S3 full access, and create a user. So this user will only have access to my S3 bucket, and nothing other than that. Now this is the other part which is kind of really critical. Once you create a user, you'll be given access key ID and the secret access key, which is really needed to set up the access through GUIs. And this is only given to you by Amazon only once when you create a user ID. So you can copy it from here, or you can just download the CSV and then use it. But just be careful that you only get to see the secret access key only once. Obviously you can always go and request a new one when you need, or create a new user ID, but you get to do that only once. So I have this, since now I have got my credentials, now I have set up my user. Now let's go to our S3 bucket, because that's the core that I wanted to show you today. So for whatever I have shown you is basically kind of a setup or pre-step that you need to perform in order to enable the access to your S3 bucket. So if you see, I don't have any bucket as of now, so let me create a bucket, and I'll call my bucket as S3 demo bucket. And in case if you are aware, you know that the bucket names are kind of unique universally. So I hope nobody has taken this name, which I kind of really doubt. But still, let's see if it lets me create a bucket with this name. Yeah, so as you see, this bucket this name has already been taken. Bucket, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hope we can. This is just for ease of our demonstration. I just don't want to waste too much time trying to create a unique bucket name. Alright, there we go. So we now have got S3 demo bucket 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this bucket is currently empty. We have blocked the public access. Alright, so now, I'm back. Sorry about the access issue. Alright, so I went ahead and I created new access key, since I could not copy the other one from my Excel. So now this is my access ID and this is the password I have got. All you have to do is just do add account, and pretty much that's it. So if everything is fine, I think we'll see our bucket should be listed here, and there we go. So as you can see, this is your S3 demo bucket, the one that we created. Currently the bucket should be empty since we have nothing in it, but now we can go and then you can add let's say I add a new bucket, say S3 demo 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm sorry, I missed one more principle. It cannot have the uppercase in the name, and I hope this should work. Alright, you can verify this by going to your management console. Let's go to your S3 bucket. Don't worry, I'll just after this demo I will delete the user ID so my account stays secure. But you get my point. Never try to expose your ID and password to anybody. So you see, I have got the other bucket that we just created, S3 demo 54321, and to test it, you can, if you want to really test it, you can just try to upload a file or empty file, and it should all work. You see here, I got to upload a file. If you want to see that, let me go to my downloads folder. Not here, sorry. Okay, let me create zero byte file, and I'll name it as s3 demo.txt. So now I can go back to my S3 bucket. I can either drag and drop, in case if you're used to that, or I just to upload files. I select the file I want, and where is the file that I created? Here you go, s3 demo.txt, and that's it. You see, your file is uploaded. It goes to your, so that's it. My file is uploaded here, and if you want to verify, you just go back, go to your folder, to your bucket, and refresh it. So it's there. It's that simple. So this is how you do it, and I just showed you how to upload. You can also go for delete, download, or anything. So this really comes in handy when you're working with a business user who doesn't have access to whether your management console, or who is not very much comfortable using the CLI. So these are the alternatives that you can provide to your business user, and I'm very sure they'll be really happy about it, because they have been using these kind of utilities for a very long time. So this is all I wanted to show you today. In case if you have any questions, do let me know. You can leave me a comment, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. And in case if you like my content, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, so you kind of know when I try to post newer videos. I usually try to do a video once a week. So thanks for watching. Until I have another video coming. So I will see you guys again in my next video. So thank you. Thanks all for watching this.